were there others like me? Did I think I was the only one who stumbled across this magnificent company? And I wouldn't put it beyond possibility that there were others, maybe in the past, maybe in the future. But one thing I can say is in my years, in my experience, in my life, from school to movies to TV to news, media, the internet, having experienced the internet for a number of decades, advertisements, I have not seen anything like this or anyone else doing what I'm doing. Man and artwork presenting the company in this way, which in the year that is 2025, it is very difficult to find something like that, and it's one of the reasons why I'm sticking with it. It's just a bit of RGB tuning. It's also very universal, is what I found in my studies or researching, that the company also applies across various languages as well. Like if there's a way or an alphabet for another language, a different alphabet than the ones we use from A to Z, even if it's different, but if there's a way of saying In Your Head Productions in that language, pretty much the same principles apply. It's actually fascinating to think about. I often find myself wondering about the past and the ancient past, whether those civilizations, whether they stumbled across it or found it, but at the time they didn't have the technology to make it work. Like they might have been sensing the application or sensing a lot of vibrations coming from the artwork, and they might have confused it as something supernatural, maybe even accused it of being like witchcraft and things like that, or some cursed inscription or something. But now, in the year that is 2025, I feel fortunate enough as Warren to be presenting it in a world where the technology is getting to a point where something like this does become possible. Did I just compliment the technology of 2025? And yes, I did. I mean, technology is always improving. There's always room for improvement, but I'm very grateful to live in the time that I do. You see, many think I was insulting those earlier brands or those earlier companies with what I said in my previous posts. But the reality is I love those companies. I love what they've done for me, what they've done for people. They've made my life and the world's life so much easier and more efficient. And I see no reason why, if In Your Head Productions grows and becomes a global brand, that it cannot coexist with those companies and they continue doing what they're doing because they're good at it. But also there's a weird face in my hat that I've just noticed, and I swear it's not Photoshop, it's just the pattern. I don't know where that came from. That's kind of creepy. That is super bizarre. Like, I swear, I don't know if any of you see it, but it seems like there's a face in my hat. And I promise you, if you come see this hat in real life, it's a normal hat. It's like one of those ones that they wear on South Park, but it's just got a mask. It's so strange. Like, I've been recording with it for, like, I don't know how many days now, and I haven't noticed that. Maybe it's just the angle that I'm standing, because I'm always standing like that. But it's just the correct light or something and it just reflects off the material. It actually kind of looks like me a little bit. A little bit, I say. It might be exaggerating my handsomeness, but maybe you can decide for yourself. I don't know, maybe it doesn't look like me, but I think we can agree that there is definitely a face there, like you can see it, like it's in my hat. I've had this hat for years, I swear, there's photos of me with this hat from years ago, and I've never noticed this. Like, I think it's just everything is lining up. The light from my phone and the light from the windows on the side, like, it's just highlighting this face, and I don't know. I find it fascinating. The studio does stuff like that sometimes. Like, there's a lot of strange happenings and occurrences in the acoustics of it that convince me to keep going. Like, they're just, I take them as little signs, but they are probably coincidence. But it's interesting. Oh well, let's not dwell on the face for too long. I mean, maybe if I just rub my hand on it, it will disappear. But, yeah, you see. Okay. It's very strange, those sorts of things. But it brings up an actually interesting topic. Like, do I believe that the artwork is supernatural? And I believe that there are things that have happened to me around it that might seem supernatural, or they go beyond my understanding. But there is obviously a logical explanation. Like, it's just coincidence. It's just in my mind. My mind is filling in gaps of information, but there is probably reasonable explanations for it. But I would say if in the past something like this came up, they might call it supernatural. And why would I think that in the past they would think this is supernatural? And it's because if you place it on the wall, as I have, there's a certain energy that surrounds it. The application I'm speaking of that interacts with the digital world and the digital world interacting with the physical world. It carries that energy. Those ideas are still there, waiting to be discovered in the space around it. But in the past, something like that was impossible. If you think 100, 200 years ago, applications, phones, TVs, all those things seemed impossible at the time. So they weren't really feasible ideas. It's only now that it is emerging in the 21st century that it does actually seem feasible. But what about religion and spirituality? Where do I fall in line with that? And I don't like talking about it too much, but one thing I can say is a lot of scientists or people who consider themselves logical thinkers like to dismiss the old stories from thousands of years ago and play it off as children's stories meant to scare children into being good people and those sorts of things. But now that same science and technology and things that they've been working on, if you think of the virtual worlds that people are exploring and the way those worlds are becoming more and more interactive every single day, some could argue that things like werewolves and angels and demons and gods and things are more alive than they've actually ever been. There's more evidence for their existence now than there ever was. So even places like hell and Hades and the underworld could also be considered more real now than they've ever been in history, thanks to technology and the way it's becoming more interactive and people are spending more time in these places. Even if it's just an artist's or a bunch of artists' rendition of it, it's still becoming a real place. But as scary as that sounds, the opposite side of the coin is also true, that maybe heaven as well, and magical fantasy lands and beautiful landscapes and those sorts of things are also going to be in existence, and a place where you can actually go and explore. I mean, and it's not always going to be those bulky VR sets. Eventually it's going to be built-in, a built-in function.